Hi, welcome back to Now TV Canada, and I am just on YouTube channel. I am your host, Jen. Um, I've decided that maybe I will make some Superwoman t-shirts, and I'll be out there when the weather improves. Just maybe giving out t-shirts to the random people I can give them to with the shirts I have to sort of promote me, promote my work, and to sort of try to figure out how to govern, how to deal with the loss of Gene Hackman, which is the last of the Mohicans for me and my work and everything that it was all for and about. I'm just devastated because if I had reached Margot Kidder on time, she would not have relapsed on drinking and wouldn't have died from the poison. Um, and if I had been helped by people that cared more to get to Gene Hackman, I would have been with him until his passing. And he might not even be dead if I had reached him. If he had sunk his teeth into the trilogy and helped me with this work, because most of it is based on his Lex Luthor as the core of it all, he would have had stuff to function on, brain activity, things to do, and he would have been very happy to do that. I'm still pretty upset. They're putting in the paper and news and stuff that Gene Hackman died of natural causes. He lied there on the floor for 7 days, breathing. He was still alive. He was in fact not dead. And his wife, needing care obviously to take care of him, didn't get her care and ended up passing away before he did. And that's why he was left alive, breathing, lying there on the floor for those days until he passed away. That is not natural causes. I don't care which way you wrap it. What Emma Willis wrote in her post about it, about caregivers needing care too, was the truth. There should have been people beyond his wife taking care of him, checking in with both of them. It's not okay when you treat your elderly people like that. I don't care whether you're successful or just an ordinary person. You need to be much more mindful and respectful of people who work so hard before us to give us the nice, comfortable, easy life we have now. No one should have to die the way the two of them just did. It's atrocious. And they're successful people. So that's even worse. So now it's no holds barred. I'm out to bite a bullet. I don't know what I'm going after here or what I'm doing, but I'm going to do something. And I already did some segments of the Gene Hackman Lex Luthor portions from my Supergirl Trilogy. What I'm going to do now is read the opening part of Supergirl 2 of my trilogy. Is she a friend or is she a foe? Because I want to go backtrack and sort of catch up to the parts of Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor I was giving to everybody of his being released from prison, which is symbolically for me like him just getting his wings and now he's free to go, to fly off and be in a better place and watch over me and help me and direct me on what to do as I grind my way through reading the script again and having to proofread and edit now without him, and see if I can find people that care enough around the Superman series and stuff that come out of the woodworks to help make all of this happen. My work is by far better because I care more. Because I wasn't paid. I wasn't given a job to make a fast, flashy, noisy, expensive movie for the big screen. I'm proud to say that I'm better than James Gunn. I'm recommending people don't go and see the Supergirl that he's made. If you go, just go to compare it to the work I've done, and you'll see how much better it is. I mean, he's only got the one, and I have a trilogy. So there's a difference right there. Don't go see Paddington either, because that's a complete shame. And same thing with the Smurfs. It's a violation of the true character of those shows, of the love and the care that was put into them and the people that made them and stuff. not right when we do that. We want more love, right? Color, sensitivity. These things matter. So I'm going to backtrack. Supergirl, from when she gets here to where Gene Hackman was released from prison. So you guys have sort of a better idea of where the story's going from there. So just keep coming back and listening for more. I would love to be able to play music, but they're always doing copyright strikes. So I just give up. We're just going to have to not do that. Maybe if I do one of these, I can do it on my Instagram, or even post something on my website where I can have music put in. So here we go. Is she a friend or is she a foe? Supergirl 2. Written by me, Jennifer Cooley. It says 78,663 words. But the actual finished was 110,000 and climbing. 110,000 words and climbing, whatever. Supergirl lands outside a building that in Earth terms she knows is called a radio station. Something back home in Argo City they have not got. There they play music live still in public forums and such. For overall they haven't much of a need for transmitting sounds over airwaves for people on her planet to listen to. There people believe it helps to keep the community and families closer also, by insisting on having functions that require everyone to participate in person, rather than staying home and turning on some contraption that distances them all from one another. And with everyone superhero hearing, it would cause many to have something Earth calls migraines. The radio station where she happened to be standing, once she looked over at it and read the sign above, upon arriving on Earth, said it was called Astral Media. I kid you not. Astral Media is a real radio station. It does exist. Well, it did at the time I wrote this. It really was a radio station. It was there. That was a huge inspiration to what caused me to be able to write this. So Supergirl has been forced to come back. This time it's not to come look for her Omega Hedron. Supergirl says, now, where is she? Supergirl said to herself as she started looking around for the woman calling herself Superwoman. She begins walking around the town as she thinks about the invitation this woman was trying to make with her back on Argo about being friends before disappearing that first day they met. When she was covered from head to toe, with there being no way for Supergirl to identify who it might possibly be. So this other woman who had besought her has like a sort of face mask, so she's covered, you can see clearly through her eyes and all that stuff, but you can't identify her face. So Supergirl, immediately curious, like, who is this person that's claiming to be Superwoman? So she couldn't identify who it might possibly be. As for there being someone who's going around implying that Clark Kent's twin sister is still alive, that he has any other living relatives from his home planet at all, that was a pretty serious statement in itself. What happened on Krypton was a terrible tragedy. He lost 3 sisters that day. If his twin was indeed in that number of those that died on their planet. Yes, it was true that he, Kal-El, was his father's only son. Which is why sending him to Earth was so important to him. Supergirl therefore knew to be leery of such an offer of friendship with this woman she doesn't know. Of course, she remembered Earth quite well and understood that she was much younger then, as was true for this imposter calling herself Superwoman. Where back home on Argo, their true age would show. But here on Earth, because of the slow rate of aging, it was like going backwards into a fountain of youth for both of them. So finding this imposter, she realized, might not be so easy a thing to do. since here on Earth they would look so close in age. But having the advantage of having been here, she believed she might have an upper hand there because she knows where she's going on Earth a little bit more. She's had around at this experience already. Supergirl never thought she'd have a reason to come to Earth again after what happened the first time she was here, when she came to meet Kal-El to have him help her retrieve the article she had lost. But indeed, here she was on Earth once again, this time a little older and wiser and less naive. She immediately wondered about her old friend, the girl she met at the border school she hid herself at when she first got here. She wondered how things worked out between her and her boyfriend, as well as what happened, that of her older sister, the reporter who worked at the Metropolis paper, who was very close friends with the person Earth knew as Superman. It was Lois that sent her sister that poster that was on their wall in the room they shared. With all this passing through her mind quickly, she realized it was necessary to change into human clothes again. As she suspected, the one calling herself Superwoman has already done this by now as well. She could not be certain how far ahead in traveling time there was. So, to guess where she might be on this planet from she is standing is exactly just a guess. Not knowing where the other one might be by now because she left first. But starting with old familiar grounds she thought might be a safe place to begin. She walked in between two places and came out clothed to imitate her surroundings. Now to get to work finding this other woman for the amount of time she has to find her and what that purpose might be for. She is still uncertain of what she could want. So that's the opening scene. That's the end scene. Let's see how long this next one is. Okay, it's not so bad. Okay, so we're going to go to the next scene. I'll read this one. It's about the other person, the imposter lady. So, the woman calling herself Superwoman, back on Argo, left unannounced, of course. She did this with a plan in her mind. And well, it didn't take long for her to feel that it had indeed worked. From the back of her head, she could feel that Supergirl saw her flying away, off in the distance. No one else aware of this transaction, just what the imposter wanted. All of them busy doing something more important than to notice her leave, she said to herself. Oh good, she's noticed me. I wonder how long it will be before curiosity will get the best of her and she will have to feel that need to follow me. It shouldn't take long if I know anything about her past and what she is like in her naturally curious nature. When speaking of this, the imposter is talking of the catastrophe that caused her to leave Argo once before. She was much younger then. The imposter continues with, just what I want. If all goes to plan, I may get 2 birds with 1 stone, as the old saying goes, or maybe 3 if the rumors I hear are true. She was referring to the capture of Supergirl and who she was going to Earth to seek. None other than the real Superwoman herself. The imposter decides that portraying her might actually turn out to be a bit of fun. From the rumors that were reported to her, the imposter was excited to learn that this Superwoman, twin sister of Kal-El, Clark Kent on Earth, not only has 1, but 2 children, and each of them are a new kind of super something unto themselves, for she did not breed both with 1 specimen. The imposter thought, what a remarkably smart thing to do, to see which one would be the fittest or strongest. Maybe one of her 2 children is more powerful than all of us in the end. The imposter clearly knows very little about this thing on Earth humans call falling in love. So thinking in a logical order, she could not compromise in the mind that maybe Superman having 2 children with different fathers was not actually planned in the way her logical mind thought of it. Of course, there is love and families in outer space, meaning Argo City, but this particular imposter has not had much luck in experiencing or coming to know of this family lover unity, the kind of the stories told to her about what happens on Earth, or what she has seen growing up in her own surroundings in history, because things changed in outer space on those planets over the course of centuries, and those stories were taught to their children. Her childhood history was that of a curious one and not something she wished to be thinking of at this moment. So she focused back on the matter at hand, finding her target or targets, this including the Supergirl she knew would be following her shortly. She had to show how she resist such an offer when the implication might be referring to saving a life, right? Supergirl being a good person and worrying about the implication of this person claiming to be Superwoman, and if the rumor was true, there was a Superwoman, and she's betraying her to find her, and she wants to do something bad, then obviously Supergirl is going to be in the position of going, oh, that can't happen. I have to follow and do something, right? Yes, just the thought of it. Superwoman alive and well and here on Earth all these years, and now add to that the wonderful gift of children? Well, now, if one doesn't learn something new every day, she says out loud to herself. Why, how could such a thing have occurred beneath the noses of those banished to the Phantom Zone, or even herself? No matter, now this information has been discovered, and what happens in the immediate future is what counts now. The imposter was determined to learn everything she could. Even if I have to play her for myself. Where there is a will, there is a way. Superwoman, wherever you are, come out, come out, come out to play. For knowing she could never convince Superwoman to be her friend. How obvious Superwoman's intuition would know the truth. As she's attempting with Supergirl, she realizes her focus must remain on finding those children, if they do indeed exist, if what her little birdies have told her is true about the whole little happy girl power family. Rather hard to dispute now, when she is already working hard with the playing leverage of having Supergirl think that's exactly who she is, as well as everyone she meets as she settles here on Earth for her first visit. This she is certain, if the future holds well, there will likely be a lot more than one of visits to Earth and changes and stuff. Blondes, she thought. I wonder, are they just as gullible on Earth? End scene. So I'm going to leave it there. So that's an opening for Supergirl following after the woman that was trying to get her attention without anybody else on Argo noticing them, and then taking off to get Supergirl to follow her, portraying herself as Superwoman. Like, that's what she told Supergirl, just call me Superwoman. A little background on this imposter Superwoman. There were people from Argo planet that were visiting Krypton when Krypton blew up, and vice versa. There would have been people from Krypton that are on Argo that were not on Krypton when it blew up. So they're stranded and they're living in Argo with their cousin families, because they're related. They're cousin related, right? Like, they're extended families on different planets. Too many people on one planet, and of course you get a variation of personality and interest, so you're gonna spread your wings a little. And so she lost her entire family, so her husband and her children, in the way they love and marry and made children in those pods and stuff, like that world of hers had been shattered and destroyed because they were all killed on the planet of Krypton. And it began to change her mind, her way of view of things and feeling. And so she went from what love she did know and understand in their super world, in their way, began to become a little jaded and warped and tainted. And she became more vengeful and wanted justice, right? She believed in her head that it was all because of the Superman family, because of Jor-El, right? Their family's to blame. They're the bane of her problems, and her head is like, well, I just want to get back and make it right, make it even. I want them to suffer. So she doesn't want anybody to be alive because hers are all gone. So she figures if she can capture Superwoman and her kids, torture everybody, man, Supergirl, Superman, whatever, then she could, get the upper hand in this whole situation. And so her becoming somebody of interest to Lex, or Lex becoming aware of her on Earth, becomes like obviously a clash. Like there's an ensuing issue here, because she become a menace to his menacing lifestyle and plans, and he would want to rid her of his world, or if not, get her to work with him. So there is lots to come that's interesting around who this woman is and how her being on Earth will affect Lex Luthor getting out of prison after so many years. And then the unveiling of the Superwoman character and her kids, where she's been hiding and what's going on, who the fathers are, and all this other secret stuff, which you follow over to the Smallville reunion movie that I share also on my channel. You learn parts of the story there as well about Superwoman, because there's a whole different segment of Superwoman's life and story being told in the Smallville stuff, which can be made into movies using the Bryan Singer series of Supermans with Henry Cavill. And this stuff, I had hoped to use as many original actors, Margot and Gene, Faye Dunaway, Helen Slater. Like that would have been a big bunch of them still with me, and it would have been fantastic. So now all I have left is Helen Slater and Faye Dunaway. Now, they can't play their original selves, but they can play some things in these trilogy movies that still would honor the work. So keep up to date on what I'm posting. I'll be back to read more. Just enjoy the memory of Gene Hackman with me here on Now TV and what's happening now in his memory. And be proud of being Canadian, being proud of being in Canada, because that's where you heard it first, and that's who wrote it, and that's where we're gonna produce it. Bye from Now TV Canada, the writer of Supergirl 2, 3, 4, Smallville Reunion Movie 1 and 2, Jennifer Cooley, signing off. And this and many, many more. I have like a Matrix, I have Spider-Man stuff, I have other things I'd like to read and share, but I got so much to do. I got to go work on 8 Mile 2 now, because I did win money again this year. So I got to publish that self-published book. So I'm going to go spend my afternoon at the library working. So if people want to find me, come to the downtown library. I'm usually in the Inspiration Lab area. I'm not hard to find. And I'm wearing Super Busy Sue Practice Super Mom t-shirt. So easy to spot because I'm super. Don't be shy. Bye. Subscribe, follow.